John McCAIN met with President Obama on Wednesday. They discussed, among other things, the situation in Egypt. Senator McCAIN joins us this morning from Capitol Hill. Senator, good to have you back with us today.
Thank you, Erica.
As I'm sure you were hearing, and I know you've seen the reports this morning, we heard Katie and we heard Mark describe the scene on the ground there, how quickly the mood has shifted in Liberation Square and in the country. I know that you and the president spoke yesterday in your meeting. Afterwards, you tweeted, "It's time for Mubarak to go." Is there anything more you feel the president should be doing at this hour to make this transition happen now?
Well, I think the president's statements and comments so far I support them, and it's hard for me to, and I do not want to tell the president what he should do, but I do think that what a lot of us should be advocating for is an orderly transition, a government composed of the Army, pro-democracy forces and individuals that would keep things calm, and an open and free election process for the elections in September. And I realize this is fraught with danger. I realize the influence of extremist organizations as well as the Muslim Brotherhood, but I don't think the status quo is something that could lead to anything but much more violence. Which
we're definitely seeing over the last couple of days. 7 months is a very long time until those elections in September, which you mentioned. President Mubarak has said he plans to stay in power until then. If he does, though, in fact, step down, what would you like to see in that interim period? Is it that same mix that you just referred to?
Yeah, the same mix. The Army is the most respected institution in Egypt. They could play a lead role. And by the way, our military-to-military relationships between the United States and the Egyptian military, I think, is having some beneficial effect. And they know who the people who are pro-democracy individuals who could be part of an interim administration, and their job would be, along with international help, to have a free and fair election. Mm-hmm. And again, I realize the threat of a repeat of the election in Gaza, and but as an alternative of the status quo and more violence and more bloodshed, I think is something that the Egyptian people deserve better.
Mm-hmm. There is much concern, not just in the U.S., but in a lot of the Western world, about the region at this point. It has been written that the situation in Egypt really seemed to come as a surprise to the U.S. and even in Egypt. It seems to be testing the limits as well of American influence and even American diplomacy in the region as we look at what's happening in Yemen, in Jordan, in Tunisia. Does this signal that there's going to need to be a change in the way the U.S. deals with countries in this region?
The United States is going to have to develop a new policy. This virus is spreading throughout the Middle East, and it proves what a lot of us have said for a long time about the universality of human yearnings, about that all of us are created equal and endowed with certain inalienable rights, and we will have to do a better job of encouraging democracy. We also have to understand that there is the radical Islamic element out there that is bent on our destruction. For example, the Muslim Brotherhood supports Sharia law. So it's going to be a very delicate balance, but we're going to have to understand the new realities in the Middle East.
Senator McCAIN, we appreciate your time. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Eric.
Chris?
Erica, thank you.